Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to Unacademy. Myself Jay Sharma. Today we're going to discuss an approach towards Indian economy from both prelims as well as mains point of view. So the objective of this class should be very much clear in your mind that what would be the agenda of today's class. That first we will be discussing briefly about the approach. In approach over here, I means that we will be discussing from prelim as well as from mains point of view. Okay, so as we know the importance of this examination, that we know the approach is quite important. The approach is very much important. Okay, as you must have heard or you must have read about basic thing that we need to develop conceptual understanding. Is we need to develop conceptual understanding. Now, what exactly conceptual understanding means? Now, this has no one been defined or no one has actually explained. Okay, many aspirants are considered that conceptual understanding means is to read all the concept. Okay, is to understand all the concept. And in that scenario, what they used to get developed, that they used to follow our general, they want to increase their general knowledge. However, UPSC wants an aspirant to increase their general awareness. Okay, now what exactly general awareness means? There is a difference between general knowledge and general awareness. General knowledge over here means that whatever is coming in the news with respect to in the Hindu or the newspaper, whatever the news is popping up, we need to collect all these news events. However, general awareness over here means that we need to understand the news event. Okay, hence we can say that UPSC, whatever the questions UPSC is framing, for example, if you are going to the PYQs, you will observe that UPSC is testing your awareness with respect to that particular topic. That is more important. So my point is that in order to increase your awareness, you need to understand it. Okay, so that means UPSC is asking question not just from an UPSC aspirant point of view. You have to answer that question from more as Indian citizen point of view. Okay, that is the main point. Examples we will be discussing in the coming slide. Okay, but as of now, you have to understand that we have to develop a conceptual understanding by keeping in mind that we need to keep ourselves aware. See, this is not an exam of Wikipedia that we have to read each and every concept or we have to memorize each and every information or the factual data. But moreover, it is important for us to understand the things happening in and around us. Okay, that is more important. So what are we going to discuss in today's class? That first we will be discussing the approach towards prelims, and then we'll be discussing the approach towards mains examination. If we talk about preliminary examination from Indian economy point of view, what we have understood that the questions framed in preliminary examination are more or less, or we could say in and around inflation and GDP, and not exactly inflation and GDP. That is the main point. That is the main thing that we have to understand while preparing for preliminary examination. For example, UPSC will be asking question from preliminary point of view. That means they won't be asking that what is inflation, what are the types of inflation, or how inflation occurs, and etc. But they will be asking that all around the year, monetary policy committee set up every 2 months. Okay, so based on that, we will be able to understand that okay, this particular committee is setting up after every 2 months, and they are defining the inflation, or we could say they are defining the inflation targeting. That what could be our inflation targeting. So over here we know that 4% plus minus 2. So the point is You don't have to think just from the micro aspect. Like if we talk about inflation, then it has two aspects. From micro aspect, we could say that is the price rise, and from macro aspect, we could say is the money supply. So there is a difference between both. Okay, UPSC asks question not from the micro aspect. If you will read our syllabus from preliminary point of view again, that UPSC is focusing upon macro economy. So that means they will be framing question to test an understanding of a student from macro aspect. Okay, that means how money supply is defining our inflation. For example, let me give you a very brief example that in the coming classes we will be discuss this in a very detailed manner. But as of now, just understand in a very brief manner that an economy depends upon the money supply, and how money supply actually start. Money supply starts from a point of view that is initiated with a commercial bank. So whenever we are developing a bank, okay, whenever a cash is inflow in the bank, that particular bank will provide loans and advances to other institutions, or we could say a manufacturer. And that manufacturer will set up plant that will hire wages, that will hire labor who will be providing wages, and these wages will increase their purchasing power, their demand, and this demand will means they will be demanding for basic goods, and this basic goods will increase the supply, or we could say to infuse supply we need to increase our production, and this production will lead to GDP, and this GDP will lead to national income, then per capita income, then again purchasing power. So the point is, this is how you have to understand the concepts. So specifically from primary point of view, you have to understand not just what is inflation, but how the mechanism of inflation is working in Indian economy. Okay, so that should be your approach from primary point of view. And the more important thing, that you need to establish a connectivity between inflation as well as GDP. That is very, very important. Okay, so that was from the preliminary point of view. In the coming classes, we will be discussing each and every concept in a very detailed manner. But today is our first class, so we will be just discussing the approach towards Indian economy, that how you have to start your preparation whenever you are reading from either preliminary point of view or just from the mains point of view. So by this way, it will be very much clear that that you will be reading from preliminary point of view is that inflation, that things happening in and around inflation, not exactly what is inflation. So once we have developed this, once we have understood the understanding of preliminary examination, and when a student will be take an example that as of now I just cleared my preliminary examination. Okay, so I have to start preparing for my mains examination. So what steps I will take, or what are the things that I will consider for to prepare for mains examination? Okay, so the first thing I will consider is, after clearing my prelims, I will go through the PYQs. Okay, that what are the pattern, or we could say the trend of questions or the trending topics that it has been asked. So by this way, you will realize that there are certain kind of topics that are repeating. For an example, if you will be going through PYQs, let's say from past 10 years. So in these past 10 years, what you will observe with respect to GS3, let's take an example that I am focusing on GS3 economic development. So what I will observe that, okay, in past 10 years, there is a topic named as inclusive growth. So what I observed that this topic has been repetitive. UPSC's favorite topic, we could say one of the favorite topic which UPSC asks in mains examination. So in past 10 years, I have observed that it has been asked by almost 6 to 7 times. So what does this indicate? That, okay, this is a particular topic which has its demand. So based on this, as a student who has just cleared prelims and who is start his preparation for mains examination, that will have this thing in mind, and that particular student will prepare accordingly. So once I will go through the PYQs, okay, I have understood that okay, this is a particular topic that has been repetitive. Now what I will be doing, that I will be finding that topic in my syllabus. syllabus of GS3, that is economic development, in which I have seen that okay, there is one topic named as inclusive growth and issues relating to it. So now I know that okay, this particular topic is part of our syllabus. So whenever you are preparing for mains examination, you should have this thing in mind that whatever questions has been asked by UPSC is or are part of our syllabus. Okay, UPSC cannot ask question from anywhere. They can only ask questions that are part of our syllabus. So if you will observe syllabus or if you will understand syllabus regularly, you will find that there is a topic named as inclusive growth and issues relating to it. Okay, now once I know that okay, this is part of our syllabus, so then what I will be doing, I will develop my own content based on this. Okay, now as a student who have cleared the preliminary examination, so they are well aware of the concept like what is inclusive growth. They know the meaning of inclusive growth. Now what they need to do is to develop a content enrichment over inclusive growth. So as an aspirant, what I will be doing, I will first take an example like okay, this is an inclusive growth and what government of India doing to achieve inclusive growth, what are the issues that we are facing, why are we lagging, what more could be done, what are the recent initiatives. So these should be considered in this. Now this inclusive growth is a very big topic. I can also connect this with a recent roadmap which has been released by Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, that is India at the rate 100, that aim to make India a developed country by 2047. That means once we will celebrate our 100 independence, then we'll become a developed country. And they have a basic criteria that how they will be becoming a developed country once they will maintain the inclusivity. They need to maintain the inclusivity of growth among all the sectors. Okay, so this is just an example that by this way you have to develop your content enrichment. So once I develop this thing, then I will be saying that okay, I have understood the approach. Okay, I have gone through the trend of PYQs. Based on that, I have connected with the syllabus, and based on that, I have developed my content. So after developing your content, after a content enrichment, then you should go for answer writing. That should be the process. That should be your step-by-step process. You cannot skip the process. You cannot jump on the process. Okay, so that is the basic criteria. So this is how we can say that okay, I have understood the approach, that okay, this is the required approach, and where to start is to start with PYQs, and how to develop or how to check your development is by start writing answers. Okay, you can write answer either by joining any test series, or if you are well aware of, if you have any personal mentor, then you can ask them to frame questions for you, or you can frame questions for yourself accordingly, and then you can write answers based on that. Okay, so this is the required approach for Indian economy that we have discussed very briefly in today's class. We'll be covering many more topics. Okay, we'll be covering each and every topic in a very detailed manner, right, with respect to prelims as well as mains point of view. And till then, stay safe and study well. Thank you.